What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about some Toronto Maple Leafs trade rumors. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd love to have you guys here. But the NHL trade deadline is right around the corner, and the Maple Leafs have already made a move, which we did touch on, acquiring Ilya Luchkin, but now are probably going to have to pivot and make another move. Now, here's what's crazy is last night, if depending on when you're watching this, Luchkin was injured by Rempe of the New York Rangers. And at the current time of recording this, we don't know what the extent of the injury is or when he'll be coming back or if he's going to miss any time at all. So this is the newest addition to the team on the blue line, and he's already injured. It was a bad hit. He jumped, he charged, it wasn't a good hit, and of course nothing's probably going to come out of it. What we need to discuss is whether or not now the Maple Leafs need to get one more piece on the blue line, or if they're back to needing two after this Luchkin injury. So we're going to get into this right now. So basically, there was this little piece on the TSN article that I did like, where it was talking about, you know, bringing in Luchkin with 50% retained from two teams, basically 75% retained. If you look at it in big picture, the number came in at $687,500. That provides some flexibility for the team. It adds to the depth. And, you know, he's a physical guy who can play a little bit of D once he's paired with somebody that can help him out as well. Now, of course, Brandon Pridham, who is the assistant GM, this guy here is a salary cap guru, so he's going to be working on a lot of things, trying to see what they can do. And Trey Living said he is willing to part with the Leafs' first-round pick in the upcoming draft. It's just he wants a guy that has a little bit of term. He doesn't want to bring in a guy that's on a one-year deal that could just go away the next season, and then you're without the pick and you're without the player as well. But getting back to Luchkin originally, a lot of people didn't like the fact that I said that I didn't like the trade. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate, I don't mind the player. I don't like the price. And they paid a third and a sixth for a guy that I believe should be on the bottom pairing once the Leafs can acquire one or two more pieces for this blue line, but we'll have to see where they put him. Again, don't hate the player. I hate the price. So what I want to get to here is the fact that the Maple Leafs are going to have to do a little bit of cap gymnastics. And the reason I'm saying that is because right now, as it stands, they have $152,000 in cap space. Now, you'll see their roster size is 23. They can go down a couple players, and there's a few names in here that I want to mention, right? So, first of all, when Giordano comes back, more than likely sooner than later, what's going to happen with this blue line? I've been liking the play of Lagesson. I thought that he's been doing really well, and that's why when Luchkin was traded for, I was like, okay, well, why didn't they just bring up Lagesson and just roll with another lefty for now? But again, they have Luchkin now, so these ideally are what the pairings are going to look like for a little bit. But I'm wondering for cap flexibility is if they're going to send down Lagesson, because Giordano can't be placed on waivers. If they do, they'll probably lose him, which I don't know if they're willing to do that or not. But that gives you a little bit more space. And the other thing is that Martin Jones, since he had already cleared waivers earlier in the season, while he's played good, the Maple Leafs need that cap flexibility. So you can send him down as well, and that'll give the Leafs a little bit of wiggle room. Now, the other pieces, I should say, is in that forward group that I'm wondering if they're going to shed from in order to try to accumulate a little bit more cap space. And there's two names that become very interesting for the Maple Leafs, and one of them is Noah Gregor. The other one is David Kampf. Now, this is the thing about Kampf, right? He's been pretty solid as a Maple Leaf, but that $2.4 million cap hit is a big problem. Now, Gregor comes in at $775K. He's shown some signs of being pretty good, but in my eyes, if the Leafs were able to remove both of these players, which would be wishful thinking, you could bring up Nick Robertson, because I don't think the Leafs really want to lose him. So if you could trade off Kampf and Gregor and allow yourself to have $3 or $4 million of cap space to play with, that would be the ultimate pipe dream for Maple Leaf fans and for the Maple Leafs front office, obviously, because you would have more to play with. So hypothetically, let's say the Leafs were able to get rid of these guys, and I'm going to use LTIR because it takes the cap hit off when you put them on LTIR. But this is basically like the trade guys. Klingberg's done for the year, Murray's done for the year, and Muzzin, unfortunately, is done probably for his career. that would allow the Leafs around $5 million in cap space if they were able to do that. Now, I will say, like I did say, I want the Maple Leafs to bring up Nick Robertson again. And then, you know, if you want to upgrade on this fourth line, you definitely can, because you don't want Reeves playing there consistently, but in the playoffs you might want him there. It depends on who you could call up. Like, there are forwards here that the Maple Leafs could definitely use. Like, you could bring up an Alex Steves. You know, you could potentially look anywhere here and try to bring up guys that you think would make sense to play on this roster. But that would give the Maple Leafs a little bit more flexibility in cap space, because then maybe they can add another forward, and maybe, of course, they're going to try to add another defenseman. But I do believe it's going to be really hard for the Maple Leafs to be able to trade a guy like David Kampf. So you're more than likely looking around just under $2 million in cap space. But of course, at the NHL trade deadline, there's a little bit more money that the Maple Leafs can wiggle around with, and there's cap accumulated with LTIR and other stuff like that. But you're going to see all of that as we get closer to the NHL trade deadline. But it's very interesting to see what this roster could look like and the money that they could save by sending certain guys down and potentially trading some guys. I do think they have to move on from somebody with, you know, not a lot of cap space, because, or sorry, with a large cap hit, because it's probably not going to happen. But if they were able to eliminate Kampf and find a suitor for Gregor as well, the Leafs could potentially have a lot of money to play with, which would help when you're making a trade. Because if a team wants you to retain salary, or if you want a team to retain salary, that's going to cost you more draft capital, or it's going to cost you a better prospect. It could potentially, you know, cost you a guy like Nick Robertson. It could cost you something a little bit more expensive than you're willing to give up. But the Maple Leafs need to find a way to maximize their cap space. They need to find a way to eliminate players that they think are holding on to too much money that they could utilize, especially on their blue line, because they keep getting injured there. It hasn't been as good as it should be, and that's the big desperate need. And again, I don't know how long this Luchkin injury is going to be, so this trade deadline can't come soon enough. And it's what, next Friday at March 8th, whatever, depending on when you're watching this. So the Maple Leafs have to get busy. They have to start moving. They have to start working, because if they don't, this is going to get problematic. They need defensemen. They need one or two guys. They might need to try to acquire a young project defenseman to see if maybe he fits, and they're going to have to get a proven veteran-style defenseman with a little bit of term that will be able to block shots, kill penalties, and do a little bit of everything. They need that right-handed shot that can be physical and play better on the defensive end. So that's going to push them and make them even more scary in terms of their depth, because the Leafs have been really good lately. So I want to know what you guys think about my theories here and the way that they could accumulate cap space and get themselves in a better position. If you're new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the roster. There's going to be a ton of content coming up this week. There should be a video damn near every day, maybe twice a day, depending on if there's trades, because this is the busiest time of the year for this channel, because it is the trade deadline. So thank you guys so much. I love and appreciate you guys as always. Go Leafs go, and I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.